kanske vara ljud också. Det kommer. Häng kvar. Annars får jag köra live. Det kan jag också göra om du vill. Är det vi gör? Då får ni en presentation utav mig. Fan, vilken tur att jag är här, eller hur? Jag drar det på engelska. Do we have any English-speaking people here?
Yeah, of course.
They didn't understand a word I just said. Sorry about that. You'll get the gist. Anyways, an esteemed voice actor who has appeared in video games such as the Uncharted, Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, the Batman Arkham series, and many, many others. Please welcome up to stage Nathan. No, sorry. No, I'm sorry. Dr. Edward North. Damn it, I mean Desmond. Nolan North. A big round.
Thank you. Several of you who are here, they said, oh, you're going to do a QA this morning. I'm like, what? Who's going to wake up for me? I'm not waking up for me.
I did.
I was so much better yesterday. I fell asleep and then woke up in the middle of the night. And I've already seen more of this day than any of you.
Oh, you're still jet lagged then?
Yeah, I believe so.
All right.
Because like the lights have tracers, I can taste color. Right now. It's amazing.
So but did you experience that we don't have a lot of nighttime at this time of year? It's not quite the midnight sun, but
I'm just
goes down
upset.
and then it goes back up again.
I know, I noticed that, but I think it's just, you know.
Did you hear like birds and stuff?
No.
No.
I heard nothing. Except my own heartbeat. I was like, I can't fall back asleep. But let's have a good Sunday. It's going to be a good day.
Yeah.
But thank you for coming out this morning. Coffee. Let's make it happen.
Yeah. Last time, yesterday, when we were sitting here, there was a guy in the audience who had no clue who you were before he sat down here, and then he became like.
Was he lost? I don't know why he ended up in here. It's like, I don't know who that is. Where is he?
He was curious, but then he became like a fan when he realized who you are in many of these games I just mentioned.
That's part of my trickery.
Is there anyone here who doesn't know who this guy is?
Are you in the wrong room?
Oh, you don't know.
You don't know who I am and you're in the front row. You know, I used to be...
Your dad knows who he is.
Well, your dad's a very smart
man.
But just play your game.
Do you guys have any questions for Mr. Nolan North? Please come down to the microphone. And while you do that, speaking of, we have a new Deadpool movie coming soon. Have you seen the two previous ones with Ryan Reynolds?
Of course, yeah. No.
Are you hyped for the third one?
I'm looking for. I love the friendship between Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman, and I think it's really interesting to see them. Bring Wolverine back in that type of. It's not as dramatic as the other films. I think that's one of the things that makes Deadpool so funny is. Everybody around him is playing everything very serious and straight, and he's just in his own monologue. Speaking of Deadpool,
hello, Mr. Deadpool.
Mr. Poole, what's your question?
I don't really have a question. I just wanted to say hi, Dad. Yeah, but as you can see, I have a much less cooler budget than the other regular ones.
I like it. You got like a flannel shirt.
I gotta say, it looks a little more comfortable.
Thank you. Just wanted to say I appreciate your work and I love seeing what else you're gonna do. And one day, hopefully, I will become DLC just like you.
You know what? DLC is not too bad. That's like a...
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Nolan. I'm a Stark fan, but my question actually is about a show you did called Young Justice. I was wondering what your favorite moment from the show is.
Well, most of all of season, there's so many. One of the things that's great about that show is, I was saying yesterday, is we started that pre-pandemic and everything, and we used to have cast records. So I think it was every Tuesday. It was Young Justice Day, where you go in there and the rest of the cast are in there. So it's your friends and you're working, and there's something about acting, specifically with voiceover when you get to work with someone who's standing right there. So if Kari Payton and I are doing a scene, like I'm reading the lines, but like looking at him, and we're playing off each other, just like we do in on camera stuff. So, but the pandemic kind of ended that. So now everybody's at home in their own little closet studios and looking at each other on Zoom.
Yeah.
So I do miss that. All of season 4 was probably one of my favorites. I thought the whole thing in the Phantom Zone was.
Yeah.
It was funny. So if you haven't seen it, Superboy, everybody thinks he's dead. And I was at a convention, and somebody said, "I can't believe they killed Wally, and now they've killed Superboy. I just canceled my HBO Max."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "You should wait for the rest of the season." They're like, "No, I canceled it. They killed him." I'm like, and I can't say he's not dead. I can't say anything. I was like, okay. So all of season 4 I thought was great.
Cool.
That was
Thank
my
you.
favorite. Thank you.
Hi, Nolan.
Hi.
First off, I'm a big fan of Uncharted. I played the first 4 of them.
Nice. I was in all 4.
I know. My question is, if you were not play as Nathan Drake, which character in Uncharted would you play?
Ooh. What an interesting question. Oh wow, well, Nathan Drake's pays better. There's so many great characters in that. Well, I'm old enough now to play Sully, I suppose. If I had to go in there, kid. Wow, what a great question. I don't know. I think every game had such interesting characters. I thought, Harry Flynn was a really... Steve Valentine played Harry Flynn in the second game. That was such a great character. Well, if I had to be honest, what people don't know is that's all, motion capture. So I do all the movements from Nathan Drake. We actually do the cut scenes as, live action, just like doing theater. And, or like what Andy Serkis did for Gollum or Planet of the Apes or movie Avatar. What a lot of people don't know is that, when we did a scene, we don't have all, a bunch of extras running around as the soldiers. We would do that. So if you remember in, for instance, Uncharted 3, where Nathan Drake, the young Nathan Drake runs,
Yeah.
and that he falls on the top of the rooftop, and that guy walks at him.
Yeah.
That's me. And I just go, just close your eyes. I did like a bad Jason Statham. I was like, that's right, just close your eyes.
Yeah.
That's right, sounds just like him, doesn't it?
Yeah.
All you have to do is sound really annoying. That's how he sounds. Can you sit any more for more coffee? Yeah, the coffee's lovely. I'll take another cup.
That's it, because he's just mad at everything. Anyway, and then, and the funny part about that is, that's when Sully shoots this guy that I'm mocapping. And he goes up to Nathan Drake, the young Drake who has the gun, and he takes it out of him and he throws it away. And Richard McGonagall threw it, and it landed on my head. It almost knocked me out because they're actually made of very heavy plastic, so they have the same weight as a real gun. That's so, it's just a rubber, heavy piece of rubber. But he goes, "Give me that, kid." And he threw it over his shoulder, and I'm already lying dead, pretended to be dead, and clunk. almost really knocked me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I didn't answer your question, but I talked for a few minutes. I don't know. I don't know. How about the guy in the sunglasses who shoots myself?
Yeah.
I don't remember the game. I don't know if I was in it. What day is it? I didn't answer your question. So there you go. Yeah, go away. No, I didn't. I don't know who. I don't know. Nathan Drake was my favorite, so I'm not going back on that.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, and who could I play that would be? How could I be any better than all the other actors we had? They were so great. So I can't say.
Yeah, but thank you.
thanks for the question.
Yeah.
And you're welcome for no answer.
You said previously there are no current plans for another Uncharted game, but there is a legacy thing. Would you be open to returning to the character? Maybe Nathan can become the kind of mentorish figure that Sully is for another game.
Yeah, I think it's just hard, the creator of Uncharted is Amy Hennig, who's moved on to another studio. I think Naughty Dog's really invested heavily in Last of Us, and I heard rumor, again, just rumor, and it might have been at a convention, it has nothing to do with it, but that they may want to move away from Uncharted and Last of Us eventually, do something different. Yeah, I mean, there's such a great studio with such, talented programmers and artists and, developers. It's just an amazing studio. So, you drawing jungles and the guy jumping, or drawing, clickers and that kind of landscape. Maybe, I wouldn't be surprised if they, create their own universe and do something different. Maybe something sci-fi. I have no idea. But I wouldn't be surprised. Just something that gets, keeps creative juices moving. You know what I mean? I think it's just, an artist is going to get burned out drawing the same thing over and over again.
But if the call came, we need Nathan.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't want anybody else to do it. It's just like that.
Sounds good. Thanks. Hi.
Hi, my name is Jessica, and I'm a huge fan.
Thanks.
So I'm gonna test your talents right now with a question.
I know it's not going to be okay.
So I was here yesterday, and you talked that you're a really good friend with Graham McTavish.
Yes.
And one of his current roles is in House of the Dragon.
Yes.
So my question for you is, if you could make up a character in the Game of Thrones universe, what would the character's name be? The house, or kind of purpose of the character? And, well, lastly, the voice.
Yeah, how would it sound?
I try to get, I would just use my voice, but, I would just pretend to be British or something like that, because everyone who was cast in that show is British, so I would just probably go to auditions and speak like this and say, no, I'm not American. I grew up in New England. I grew up in New England, but I just said, I grew up in New England as well. So I'd probably speak like this, and I want to be someone who's kind of, I like the characters that you're not quite sure about. I think, especially on camera, I think it's more fun to play like someone that's questionable. Certainly somebody, I would definitely want to be, I don't know what house. I have such jet lag, I'd probably say Slytherin. That's the wrong movie. But something who, does horrible things to Graham's character would be wonderful. Stabbing with, something that just, just annoys him to no end, as the king's god, as he does. Or I'd want to sound just like him. I just walk around like this. He'd be like, Your Highness, what should we do? And I'm like, yes, Your Highness, what do you think he should do?
Just mimic him.
Yeah, just mimic him. Just to annoy him. What's that?
An imposter.
Yes. I was the dragon. I don't know. I would do anything. I think that, he's...
Play a dragon?
Well, yeah, I could mocap one of those. I could do that.
Can you sound like a dragon?
Oh my goodness.
Sorry, I'm really putting you to the test.
I don't know. I didn't do it yet. I was clearing my throat. I'm a dragon. I'm a dragon from Brooklyn. I don't know. It depends. Yeah. I do dragons. I do anything. I pretty much go anywhere for money.
Thank you so much.
That's not true. You're welcome. Thank you. I'm so tired. I really don't know about answering the questions anymore. I because I'm like hearing my voice in my own head.
We're just here to hear
I have
you
the
talk.
echo in my head.
Doesn't even matter. But creature and stuff. Do you do? I mean, there are like other actors like Dee Bradley Baker who does a lot of.
Well, Dee is a freak.
Yeah,
If you've ever Dee Bradley Baker is absolutely amazing. Because we were at the Seattle ComicCon and they invited Dee and I to go to the morning, like on a Sunday morning, early the morning news. To promote the convention that day.
On TV.
Yeah, so it's the TV news station in the morning. And they're so perky when they get there. Hi, how are you? So you're here for the convention. It's 5:30 in the morning. You're like, what? Yeah. And they started talking to us, and we were punchy and having fun. And they said, hey, you want to help us do the weather? And I looked at him and he goes, yeah, we want to do that. And I went over and I did well, the weather's coming in here. We got a front system coming. And I did this voice as the weatherman, and Dee did all the weather that I was describing. Just what I was saying. So like, we got some wind coming. And it sounded just like it. The first time I ever worked with him was like I did one episode of Clone Wars, and I was sitting there and I'm like, what the hell is that noise I keep hearing? It's him warming up. He does crickets, and it sounds exactly like crickets. It's crazy. But to answer your question, I'll get there. Yes, I have done a lot of creature noises, things like that. I remember did a cartoon. I came out of the booth. My wife was there. She said, "What'd you do?" I said, "I was just a Viking beaver." She said, "What does that sound like?" I'm like, "I don't remember." Did anybody ever see the movie The Wolfman with Benicio del Toro and Anthony Hopkins? Do you remember that movie? So another great actor, Fred Tatasciore, a very close friend of mine. He and I are the Wolfman. You won't see us in the credits, which is an absolute travesty, because we did about 7 to 8 sessions. I'll never forget it, because Fred takes his shoes off and he has these orange socks, and he's the nicest human being I've ever known. And I'm sitting there with a cup of coffee, and he has all these Chinese herbs and everything for his voice, because he's brilliant at it. But in the big fight with Benicio and Anthony Hopkins, he did Anthony Hopkins, I did Benicio. It's like, and all that kind of noises. We even did all that kind of stuff, and just these strange things, and you don't really know what you can do, but they're paying you to be there, and you're like, oh, what am I? And it was funny because it was crazy, because then like, hey, by the way, see this guy, and an old guy, we couldn't understand him. He was from England, and so can you just, this is the line, so if you watch the movie, you'll also hear me as the old man goes, mind the pit, Tommy! He says, mind the pit, Tommy! And Tommy falls into the pit, and then I was Tommy getting gutted by myself doing that's us. That was us doing it. And then if you watch the credits, they apparently got some up-and-coming tenor, like an opera singer, to come in and do 1 hour of and they put his name on the credit. Because it was a Warner Brothers movie, and he's signed by Warner Brothers Records. And it was like, we still get residuals off the movie, but our name wasn't on it. And Fred, who does a lot of creature voices, was really upset, because he's like, if I tell people I did this and they don't see, they think I'm lying. Right. And I told him, just bring your residual checks. But you can't do that. But so the short answer is yes.
Yes, you do creature voices.
Yes, I've done creature voices. Not so easy anymore, because now it just sounds like me waking up. We're standing up, right? Guys in their 50s. It's like, oh, my knee.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, I've been a fan of your work for a very long time.
Thank you.
You have even inspired me to becoming a voice actor. You're
Oh,
one of
nice.
the people that have done that.
Great. Good luck.
I think I unfortunately haven't played the Uncharted games, but I know you did.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I've done other things, but you don't have to play them.
No.
It's not like no question for you.
They're
Sit
awesome.
down. You haven't played that game. By the way, I haven't really played Uncharted, so
Yeah.
I am terrible at it.
I don't have a PlayStation, that's why I haven't
Oh,
played.
well, I do. what can I answer?
You have probably gotten this question before, but do you have any favorites of the characters you have voiced?
Well, Nathan Drake is one of my favorites because, as a role, because it's motion capture. It's like doing an on-camera job, and to be the lead in something like that, to be an Indiana Jones, and to have created a character with Naughty Dog and Amy and everybody that allows me to travel the world and meet people from all over that like that character and what it's done. There's that one kid from Germany, and he didn't. We were taking pictures, and he goes, "Who are you?" And I said, "Oh, I'm Nathan Drake." He goes, "I play the German version." So, just one kid. That's it. Just one kid. But it is my favorite. That's it's the easy answer. But my favorite to voice. That's different because Nathan Drake is my voice. It's acting. That's my best role. It's created a lot of opportunities for me. But if I'm just answering the question like voicing, Deadpool is so much fun. Yeah, I see it back there, stupid. That was Deadpool saying stupid, not me. I get away with so much just using another voice. You can say whatever I want. It wasn't me. It's in my head. Right, you know what I'm saying. All right. Shut up. Anyway, Deadpool because no consequences. Just he's like a puppy. He lives like a dog. It's like I'm in the moment all the time because nothing exists before or after right now. And Dr. Richtofen again, who has because Call of Duty is such a huge thing. It was so much fun. They explored. They went in ways in that story that I can't even follow. But again, another character who controls time. He could do anything he wants, and I could do this campy German accent. It's just like Hogan's Heroes back in the day, when it's just this silly. And I'm just basically just hate that German kid. I play the German version. I flew here to see you.
Better than you.
Yeah, I'm better than him. I sure was.
Yeah.
Doomkopf. But there's been so many fun ones.
Yeah.
And I was talking about that yesterday. Just sometimes something that's further away from my own voice, it's kind of like, can I do that? Can I pull that off? One of my new favorites is there's a show called Star Trek Lower Decks. And they brought me in and, you have a couple characters. And then we had this other character. He's an old man. He said basically an old man and a young boy got transporter together, and they got melded together, and they said, we don't know what he sounds like. And I'm like, well, what if we kind of do both? And they said, what do you mean? I said,
Well, what if he's a little old man when he talks, but as he talks through the whole thing, he just gets younger, and then he's a kid, and then all of a sudden it just goes back and he's old again.
and they looked at me and they were like, yeah, do that. and they said, how do you know you can do that? I'm like, neither did I.
He's like, we have to get out of here quick, guys.
And when they animated it, they said the animators had so much fun, kind of like weird, because it's like they had two faces. It was all this like blob. It was funny. So I don't know. It's just so it's just finding that kind of stuff, and just something that's a further departure is something that I enjoy. Just because it's like kind of like, I wonder if I can do that. And sometimes you can't pull it off, but you got to give it a shot.
Yeah, you have inspired me to, when I watched a movie or something, I try to repeat voice or do the voice. And I actually got to try voice acting at a film studio here in Sweden that I was at. And it was
great.
Professional. I was in a room, but I think they took scenes from Pixar movies and removed the voices, and that we.
That's a great idea. And the other thing, the best advice I can give you is there's no such thing as a bad impression.
No.
That's an original character. What I used to do, like a Sean Connery. Everybody has some type of. But if you just all of a sudden put kind of a southern U.S. southern accent on that becomes Sean, just a guy down there in Georgia talking. So you can mess around, like somebody says, "Can you do Jeff Goldblum?" I'm like, I can't, but I know that he kind of has a weird speech pattern like that. So all of a sudden now it becomes, and if I just do something like this, that's kind of close to Patrick from SpongeBob, but I do it on that kind of cadence, it becomes like, I don't know, a big dog or something, I don't know. And sometimes I just hear people who sound funny when I'm at a restaurant. I go, my wife's like, ugh, he's going in a cartoon, isn't he? I'm like, he sure is.
I can get you more bread. No, but, you know, maybe some more water.
It would have.
I'm waking up. You feel that? You feel it? I'm kind of waking up. The kid in the front doesn't care still. It's like, not impressed.
Yeah, but I think what have motivated me too is that my family and friends have told me a lot at Praxis, and they have told me that I am very good at accents and voices and stuff.
Then go for it. I mean, we're talking about D. Bradley Baker. D. Bradley Baker has a website called iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. I know it kind of sounds a little hokey, the name, but it's full of really good practical information. The microphones of all different cost levels that are really quality. The programming, the different classes if you want to go that route. Don't spend too much money on classes and that kind of thing.
I have a microphone myself that I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I have a microphone myself that I practice on in
Yeah.
the days. Yeah.
And the programs and things like that. So go do. I mean, I'm about done. So there's plenty of room. You have to talk to Troy. Troy's keeping busy, but just keep watching things, keep doing things, and I'll see you on Zoom.
Yeah. I'll see you there.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there.
Hi, I'm Sabrina.
Hi, Sabrina.
Hi, I've seen you play Uncharted with Troy on with Retro Replay.
Yeah, I was so bad, right?
Yeah, you were.
I was terrible, but they didn't even tell me that circle meant cover, so I'm running around almost. Like for anybody who plays Uncharted, I know, I've heard this all over the world when I go places, they're like, why are you so bad? I'm like, oh, well, shut up, why are you so bad? I'm all defensive. Yeah, you know how when Nathan Drake's about to die and goes into black and white? I played that game mostly in black and white. It's like, isn't there some color? They're like, no, you're terrible.
You tried at least.
I did for a little bit. It's different though. My kids, both my sons were like, hey, you should really play sometime so you can really alone, just so you can see what it's like. Because when you do it we did it for a YouTube channel that we did, and you have cameras and people around and take breaks, and it's not like that same. Troy was like, oh, talking my ear off. Just like, so what was this scene like? I'm like, shut up, I can't get by this canoe, or whatever it was. The jet ski. Oh,
Yeah, the
that
jet ski
sucked
was
in the first
horrible.
game.
Yeah.
Terrible, yeah. And then finally got through the rocks, a sniper. Why did they put snipers? Why did the barrels explode? I don't know. I don't play a lot of games.
So my question is like, have you gotten to? I've seen you play 1 to 4, but have you played like Lost Legacy with Chloe and maybe?
No. Not in that one. It's not on Uncharted. Forget that. No, I haven't even played 4 actually.
Yeah,
We did the 3 on the show, and
that's right, yeah.
and I've seen so much of 4, but I've never. I really do. I would like to go back and play. Except I know that like I'm gonna have a little OCD about the treasures. Those achievements.
Yeah.
Oh, shiny things. I'm that guy. Oh, shiny. It's like, and I'm the one. I'll have the YouTube channel open. Okay, so it's behind this rock, and next thing I know, I'll be 70 because it's going to take me that long. It'll take me 20 years to figure out how to play that game or any game. But no, I haven't played it. I haven't played Lost Legacy. I know because it was weird. They didn't even tell me they were making that. They did it in a studio next to us. It's not in it. I'm selling Nolan and a Drake. Come on. It's like a better.
They got one Drake in it though.
They got
Sam. So Troy.
Who's that? Sam is nothing without Nathan. Although that's funny that Troy knew that it bothered me. Because, hey Nathan, he always called me Nathan, and he did that on purpose because everybody's like, it's Nate. It's Nate, but nobody really said, they'd say Nathan, but he said, hey Nathan, and he kept saying, I'm like, no, you can just say Nate when he's like, no, I'm the older brother. I'm going to say Nathan, and he knew it kind of bothered to me at the first. It was just the way he said it. And I thought it was very funny because that was a great dynamic of being like the older brother just ripping the younger brother. So it's really interesting. I'm interested to see if they do another film, if they are able to figure that brother relationship out in the future. See where that was, because that history must have been when they were, the film has the opportunity to explore what the Drake brothers might have been like in their 20s before everything went sideways in the games. So I don't know, but I'll get to it. I'll play the game.
And a cameo for you in the sequel.
Yeah, it was fun. It was, Barcelona. I got to go to Barcelona and say, it happened to me once. It was funny. I tell people the story. I didn't say it yesterday, but they flew me there in October of 2020, which is right in the middle of the whole pandemic. And I got on a plane, and they fly you first class. It was great. Wow, this is nice. Okay, it's great. Get comfortable. And it's time to go to the bathroom, and I gotta get up. And I suddenly realized there's hardly, it's a plane with as many seats as there are in this theater, and there's like 14 people on it. And I was like, this is a murder plane. I'm like, where is everybody? I mean, it felt like I couldn't even find it was like the middle of the night overseas, and you walk down to find the one flight attendant that's still awake. It just was creepy. I was waiting for Sam Jackson to run out. Like, we gotta get off this plane. What happened? It was really creepy. I don't know if you ever been. Imagine you go to bed tonight and you wake up in this room alone. That's how I felt like. You're like, what the hell is going on? There's nobody. It was murder plane. I just knew it's like, I'm gonna die in this plane. Not a crash. There's a killer. Probably dressed like a clown. This is what happens when I get tired.
Yeah, you can cross clouds.
No, you haven't. Not listening. Because there's 1,500 voices screaming at me at once. I'm not well.
Thank you very much.
This kid just still doesn't care.
My name is Per Axel, and so I actually got to know you from the game Guild Wars 2. And,
okay, Guild Wars, nice.
You voiced multiple characters there, including both one of the playable characters as well as multiple villains. So I was wondering, how does it feel when you're having to do scenes when you're acting against yourself?
It's always fun. They will usually record them separately, and then they will edit it together. But Guild Wars, if you haven't played, it's a big online multiplayer, and I call it kind of one of the. It's kind of like an annuity. I think I've been doing it for forever, for so long. And as you know, the main player character is just kind of my voice. But again, going back to the earlier question, I love those. It's a Palava joke, to kind of find that kind of. To do that kind of, or Mordramoth, so they give me, and now what they've done, the Guild Wars team, they're always like, well, let's find one little character, something that he can do, just, to keep it funny for him, something will challenge him, and they try to find and there are side characters that sometimes if you don't go on that mission or something, you won't ever meet, which is interesting, because they've created this massive world. I think Guild Wars might be a really cool, like what they've done with Fallout. Guild Wars could be kind of a cool. Some of those massive multiplayers could be really interesting as a show. I think it just see what they would do with it. So thank you for playing that game. I think that team is so great, and there's a lot of. In fact, I think I recorded something. Recently, I probably should have said that. I don't know. But I always look forward to seeing what kind of side character they'll kind of write for me, just to test me, just to see if I can do something like that, which I love. I passed the test, and if I can't do it, they'll just get somebody else. It's okay. So thanks for playing. I like that one.
Thank you very much for voicing it.
You got it.
Couldn't say anything about something, but something in the works that you can, like, what's next for you acting-wise? Something that you actually can talk about? Or are there things you can?
There are a number of things I can't talk about.
Nice.
Which is always good, means I'm keeping busy. But the one thing I can't talk about is NBC Peacock. I did an on-camera show that will be out in the fall called Hysteria. Julie Bowen from Modern Family plays my wife. MJ Anthony is our son, who was in The Young Boy and Chef, really great actor. Anna Camp from Pitch Perfect. Bruce Campbell has a role. So it's in the horror genre on NBC's Peacock network. I don't know, or whatever may stream over here, hopefully. So you get to see this me walking around. Gene Gamble. So
Hysteria.
Hysteria. And I think they haven't announced exactly when, but I think they're planning for a late fall release. So it's when everything's cold and dark here. You have nothing to do but watch that and shovel snow or whatever you do. I was told yesterday, it's like, oh yes, it gets very cold. Like, glad to be here in May. Hi.
Hello, welcome to Sweden.
Thank you.
Have you been here before?
I haven't, and I've had a bunch of friends who are from Sweden, and I've always kind of wanted to be here, so I'm really actually very, very happy to be here.
Well, glad to hear that you came to visit here actually, because I was actually really shocked that you were coming to Sweden.
Why would you be shocked?
I just had no idea. I just
like, oh God,
I didn't come here for some reason. I was in London when I found out you were coming, and I had to cancel all my plans just to be here.
I'm actually shocked that you're here in Sweden as well. I mean, what are the odds that we're here at the same time? By the way, are the lights over this microphone going up and down, or am I losing my mind? Because sometimes I see your face and I can't. Look, is it getting brighter and then darker? Watch him. Or am I losing my mind? It's brighter.
Something is,
Okay, thank God. I thought I was having a stroke. I'm sitting there going, why is everybody kind of fading in and fading out like that? Tired. Okay.
Well, I'm actually Swedish.
Okay, I'm good.
It's not that I came all the way from London here.
Well, I came all the way from the United States, so there.
Well, welcome once again.
Well, welcome back to Sweden.
Well, my question is that from crazy German scientist to a gunslinger hunter to a guy who's finding a lost relic, of which of the characters did you feel like, shit, okay, I'm already crazy enough, so I don't have to, act, just be me?
Great way to put that. Probably Nathan Drake's most like me because it's full body motion capture. It's like doing an on-camera job. And Amy and Naughty Dog always said, just want to put as much of you into it. So I joked about this yesterday, although I can't climb like Nathan Drake, and I haven't killed as many people. His sense of humor and it is very much mine, and they let me kind of here and there sporadically ad-lib. I don't like to take too much credit for ad-libbing. I think actors get too much credit for that sometimes because there have been like little zingers and one-liners and things I've done, but Amy was such a brilliant writer for that series. It was all there. But she see now you see it. Yeah, with the lights. No, but it's one of those things where you sit there and she would write to the actors as the characters. So as the game went along, Elena became more like Emily. Sully mirrored a lot of things the way Richard McGonagall was. And it was just a very organic way of creating that character. So, but there are days that, I feel like Deadpool, where it's just like, should I eat breakfast? No, I don't eat breakfast, you're getting fat. Shut up. I'm getting fat. I should work out. Yeah, you should. It's like, that happened this morning. And instead I just went and took a shower. Did nothing. I don't think I used soap. Did I use soap? No, I did. Yeah, so I don't know. There's been a lot of there's been a lot of really interesting characters that have gotten to play. So, but that's probably Deadpool's up here, and then just the rest is Nathan Drake. It's not well. I'm not well. A lot of medication.
Well, you're mostly famous for Nathan Drake, well, Deadpool as well. But which other characters outside Nathan Drake and Deadpool do you feel like?
Okay, so you didn't like my answer. Does everybody get that? Hey, who do you feel most like? These two. Okay, outside of those two.
I don't want a basic answer.
Oh my gosh, let me see. I don't remember my character. I've done so many roles. Let's see. Outside of those two,
Maybe that's it. No.
there's Cobblepot. Yeah, that's me. One cigar every year though. Let's see. I don't know. Cyclops. You could be Cyclops. Superboy, except I can't fly.
Maybe.
Well, I can't fly well.
Maybe Deadpool and Nathan.
But outside of those, certainly not David from Last of Us. It's so hard to pick anything like that. You know what? Okay, I'll give you one. Sometimes Raphael from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I literally just did a voice for that. That was a guy I went to high school with. But I know I've had in the past that I get impatient, and I've always been the kind of friend kind of rush to a little bit of a temper, not really temper, but you hear what that guy said? I heard what he said. Let's go get him. that kind of so. Very close to my brother, like Raphael was. I'm kind of, so some of that. But one of thing about Raphael in a TMNT, the movie that we did in 2007, is he was rash in his decisions. He was a bit impatient, but he was always did it for the right reasons. And I think my intentions have always, things that I've done in my life have always been pretty good. But my execution sometimes, at least that's what my wife says sometimes. She said, now I know you meant well, but you screwed up the kitchen. I just thought I'd put the plates in a different drawer. She goes, yeah, don't put those there. Put them back. I'm like, okay.
All right, well, thanks for the answer, and have a good time.
You too. All right, come on, Paul.
Yeah, it's not a Deadpool-related question though, but in a Halo game called Halo 3 ODST, you got to voice alongside Nathan Fillion and Tudyk, the stars of Firefly and such also. Did you get to meet them ever after the voice recordings or something?
Yeah, we all kind of came up together, so I knew a lot of them. Because I had done a bunch of different on-camera stuff that as guest stars and things like that. So, but we didn't record together, but I did meet them at times. The funny thing about that is I remember when, it's a strange story. I remember going into another job and one of the magazines came out with Halo ODST, and it showed, there was Nathan Fillion's picture, his character, and there's Tudyk and Baldwin and Gina Torres, and then it got to Romeo, and it was just a silhouette of a head, and it said unknown voice actor. And I was like, what the hell? And then I looked and I realized that they had made Romeo black.
Oh.
And then I started getting questions that were like, oh, do you think it's right that a white guy would do a black voice? I'm like, I didn't do a black voice. No, because Romeo was white when we recorded it. And I guess rather than go and re-record it, because I was just doing like he just was like from Brooklyn or something, he kind of talk like this, whatever. And then they just basically turned up the shader. and then I'm taking flack. I'm like, no, I didn't do that. And that's why it was unknown voice actor. They put that. I was like, oh God. But not that it didn't bother me. And maybe they were trying to protect things, but. I loved Romeo. I thought he was a great character. I don't care what color he is. You know, the funny thing they say, it's a soldier. You're all one color. You're like whatever color that uniform is, and they stick by each other. They're brothers. So, but it was just such an odd choice that they made that. I don't know what for, but I had nothing to do with it.
Their fault.
Yeah, and it's like no, because if people have done that, they with voiceover, they say like, well, don't you do a black voice? I said, what is a black voice? Well, you know, like I'm like, well, I said, oh, you want me to do? I can do a voice of a black guy. No, they go, okay, and I go. He talks like this. He's from London, and he's, you know, what's up, mate? You coming over here? And they're like, well, that's British. I'm like, yeah, but he's black. what do you want? You know, it's so. I was a Viking beaver. Let's not get into this. Okay, I've done more against the animal world than anybody else. So.
Regardless, you did a great job as Romeo.
Thank you. I thought Romeo was really cool. I liked how you did it.
When you got cast as Dr. Edward Hoffman, did you have a clear vision of how you want to portray the character? Or what was the thought process behind creating such an unhinged character?
It was all, I would love to take the credit. It was all in the writing. They wrote that character so well. Yes, some of the vocal things I did where he'd be talking like this, and then Daddy got me in his city, Mr. Kill. I don't know, he's a hider. So some of those things I kind of took as, from various things. And, a lot of Monty Python sketch stuff that I saw, Faulty Towers, the famous episode, the Germans, it's like, but it was written so he was unhinged but dangerous. And I thought it was really interesting in that arc where they made him, I can't even explain the timeline on this thing, so I won't start, but for those who don't know, there's like multiverses, and Richtofen can like control. I mean, I remember the one episode where the script they brought me where I shoot, Richtofen gets shot and killed by Richtofen. So I was like, I'm losing my job. I'm not losing my job. And it was very interesting. Now people are like, do you like Ultimus or Primus? And I can't remember which is which, to be honest with you, because I'm like, Ultimus last, Primus first, or Primus is one is very serious about Maxis and Samantha. The other one's like, oh, I can see your house from here. It was fun, and it was the writing. Our writer Craig was just. He was brilliant with the story, and he actually had that whole timeline in his head. But sometimes there's no substitute for great writing in anything, whether it's theater, whether it's television, gaming, animation. When it's written really well and you just say it, you got it. It also allows you to improv and play with it. And then if in editing, if they go, yeah, let's try that. But it all starts with a good, when people say, hey, we're just going to just say whatever, it rarely works. It takes a really good, dedicated group to do that. I mean, it does work. I mean, there's like Curb Your Enthusiasm that does that a lot, where they go, okay, this is the situation. But many of those actors have worked together for years, and they just have that kind of rapport with each other, and they're brilliant. So it does work, but when it's on the page, it makes it so much easier.
I was going to ask if you could say your favorite line in voice of Dr.
I hate you, Dempsey is great. I'm out of ammo, I must resort to stabbing. But one of my favorite is, and they used to say, no, just say stabbing. I'm like, no, I say stabbing. And it stuck. Another thing with Takeo, his name's Takeo. And we had recorded a whole thing where I called him Takeo. And they said, we're going to have to go back and record it. And I looked at Craig and I went, no. Everyone else is saying it wrong. and he just went, he's Scottish. And he was like, I love that. And they kept it. So I know, and people are like, why do you call him Takeo? I'm like, because that's how I do it. It's how I say it. And I say it correctly. And everyone's like, no, but the character's Takeo. I'm like, nine. That's the doctor, and it just worked for that character. It came out of a mistake that we had recorded it wrong. Because anyway, but ultimately, Dempsey, I can see your house from here. It's on fire! That was always one of my favorites.
All right.
I'm getting to all these questions. Yesterday I didn't, and I'm going to get to everybody.
We have like 7 minutes left.
Yes.
Yeah, let's go.
But I have time.
First of all, say hi, I'm Connolly. I'm Liz.
How you doing? Good to see you. How you doing?
I just want to say thank you for with the couch soup. You and Troy truly helped me through a very difficult time in my life.
Oh,
and also, I just love you and Young Justice. My question was more like, you're both Superboy and Superman. How was that like portraying the clone and the original?
Pretty cool, right? It's a great story. I was cast as Superboy, and on the first day, I went in, and they came over to me, and they said, "Listen, we were talking, and Superboy is technically the clone of Superman. So I swear this is the words. He goes, would you mind playing Superman in the show as well?" Right? So that was exactly what I did. I was like, what? Yes, absolutely. And people ask me what it is, but Superboy, you just kind of get raspy, kind of a teenager, and he just keeps him a little more grounded, but he's up in this register to kind of do it. But Superman was just the same voice I use when I'm upset with my kids. Or your local newscaster. Tonight on the 6 o'clock news, we'll investigate Superman. So it just became that. And what was great about it is I got, to play the scenes with Superboy and go back and forth. And we actually tried to do that the way I did Deadpool, rather than just do this voice and Deadpool is the voice in his head. I would make it, and we actually tried to record it like that together, where just you take a beat and then answer and go back and forth with the two characters. And the other great thing is Bruce Greenwood, tremendous actor, plays Batman, and I got to work with him and become friends with him. And if you look him up, you'll be like, oh yeah, no, he's in everything. Television, film, he's been in everything. And yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty cool. Anytime you get to play Superman, I'm also Lego Superman in some of the movies that we've done, and I don't care. I did Bizarro Superman, and it was like, it was so great. So, yeah, I mean, I had did you guys have underoos back in the day? Remember those underwear, like, it'd be like a little underwear to sleep in, and like the Batman or Superman. I had Spider-Man and Superman. I had those comics, so I was a bit of a, nerd for that stuff. So when somebody says you get to play Superman, I'm like, well, then my answer is yes. I would love to do this. Yeah, it's so great. It's really great. I love getting to play both of those.
Thank you.
You bet.
Hello. So I'm a really big fan as well, but I didn't realize that until a while ago when I realized that you played Wicktober. And because it blew my mind, I could not comprehend at all. Since I knew who you were, I knew you were Nathan Drake. But like Nathan Drake and Wicktober's the same person?
I know, it's weird, right?
Yeah, it blew my mind. So you definitely demonstrated your ability today, but so my question is then, what is the most technically difficult role you've had to play in terms of voice work?
Technically difficult?
Viking Beaver?
Actually, so the Viking Beaver was, eventually he did well. He was on a show called Breadwinners that Nickelodeon had. He was a side character. And he talked like this, basically. This is what he sounds like, because hey, little beavers and you little birdies, because the main characters were like these weird birds. But they had me have to do like, I don't even know what genre of music gore is. That kind of the screaming. Well, Unsky, the Viking Beaver in the show, had a band apparently. So I did this thing, and the next thing I know, and I had to sing. I can't do that for very long. I literally will never audition with this voice ever again. Because and he was the guy who's, I don't know where you were, that's doing voice acting as well. Don't do something you can't sustain. There you are. Don't ever audition with a voice that, like you can't sustain over a period of time. Because it was just, I would need a full day. I couldn't work the next day when we did this thing. So I won't do that one. The only one I've ever lost my voice on was a Call of Duty. It was a Call of Duty Big Red One. It sounds terrible, but it's like, it was cool because it's D-Day, and then it's the Battle of Stalingrad in World War II. And I did like a Russian, but I decided he would sound like this: Vasily, get to the car, go, and it was all screaming. And when you do this with your voice, you can't, and you have to yell. It's hard to yell from the diaphragm the way you, like a singer would. Like, if I was doing an American, I got that, let's go. But when you're here to get that, it's in the throat. And 2 days of 8 hours screaming, I woke up one day and I was like, I lost my voice. The only time it's ever happened. So, just, that's the, I don't know if that's technically difficult or I'm just stupid for doing that. I was early in my career, so it never happened again. But again, the short answer is Unsky. I'm going to get these questions.
I think you have no real deadline, so we can
let's
go
just
past
stay
over for a
here.
bit.
Let's order in. Who wants pizza?
Most of the time it works.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. I like the plans.
Next thing is
I got repeat questions. This is great.
Hello again. I'm back with another YG question because I'm just a big fan.
Okay.
If you did not voice Superman / Superboy,
I know what's coming.
out of the main 6 from season 1, who would you want to voice act and why?
That is such a difficult question because the rest of those characters are my friends.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's like I can't. It's hard for me to hear what I would do after hearing what they do. I was saying yesterday that I randomly over my career got an audition for Wolverine. Yeah. And I'm like, no, that's Steve Bloom. Steve does that. And I joke about it, but I would be doing a bad Steve Bloom impression. I don't know what my Wolverine would sound like because I've worked with him so much as Wolverine. It's like that, and that's kind of his character. I don't want to, it's not like I can do it better. I don't think I can. He's so good. It's just he is my Wolverine. When I hear, if I read a comic, I hear Steve's voice. Yeah. So it'd be really difficult to pick one. So many great characters, but like Aqualad, great character. Any actor would love that. It's Kari Payton, and he's a really good friend of mine, and he's got a great voice. I mean, that's his voice. He puts it on a little more, but he's got such a cool, raspy voice, man. It's just like, most people you don't like. I don't like really necessarily. It's like I like my own voice. I like that other people like it, but like Kari Payton's got a cool voice. It's just he's got a really cool voice. So it's very difficult for me to kind of pick something like that. I mean, there's characters that I've done a lot of different. I one time was somewhere I said, I could try a Green Lantern, and someone's like, you played Green Lantern. I'm like, oh, that's right. I'm getting to the point where I've kind of forgotten, but.
So maybe Keller. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe. No.
No?
Maybe.
Maybe. That's fine for an answer. Thank you.
Yeah, that's me. Okay, sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I'm a fan of this show as well. I mean, Greg Weisman, Brandon Vieta, what they created. I would like to, find another season somewhere, but gotta find this place that will actually do it. But hi.
Yeah, hi. Yesterday I was here as well, and I said thank you for being my childhood with Uncharted. And I think most of the people think that because you've done so many voices. But my question today for you is, since you've done so many voices, do you have an interest in languages, since you're so good at making impressions of other languages? And which languages do you speak?
I only speak Spanish, because I studied that in school, and English, of course. Remember the show Benny Hill? That's what funny. He's like, I speak 6 languages. He goes, do you speak German? He's like, sí, yo hablo German. And he's like, well, that's Spanish. He goes, 7 languages. I love, I pick it up very quickly. I would like to learn French. I went to Paris and I did like one of those things for about a month. And I was able to actually get around and converse because I pick it up pretty quickly. I would actually like to, because I hear accents and voices, and I never try to I don't try to, sometimes I do it and I'll talk to my friends who's from Ireland and I'm like, tell me where it's right and wrong, and because most Americans, they take Irish for example, and everybody sounds like a leprechaun when you talk like, no.
Yeah.
No, man, most of them sound more like that. I don't want to keep it down there. But I just love the nuances. I love travel. I really do. I love travel. I've been watching Swedish TV, and I have no idea what's going on.
Sound like the Swedish chef.
Could you do? No, it doesn't sound. That's kind of disappointing. There's no Bergen, Schmergen.
Have you heard enough to if in English? How does a Swedish person sound like speaking English?
I can't quite figure it out, but it's there's long words. Schweden von Weitens,
Well, that's more German, I think.
No, that's angry. No, Swedish are like German, but nice. Nein, Schweine und Schweindingsing. Nein, Schweine und Schweindingsing. Jabens. There's more Jaben and Herbens and Utfahrt.
That's why
which is a great word.
I always get to play a Nazi, I think. A Swedish actor,
Oh, yeah.
But anyways, you have the school English that
I need to work on it more.
Swedish dads speak. It's like this. You should listen to Stellan Skarsgård as well.
Stellan
One of
Skarsgård.
his sons. They speak very Swedish English. Yes.
Yeah, actually, there was a great question, in Dune.
Austin Butler.
Austin Butler.
Stellan. Yeah.
Oh my God! And even Stellan was shocked at it. So I haven't seen it yet, but I'm looking forward to it.
All right.
Do we get this?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, yes. Hi. Yes. So, is there any particular series or setting that you would love to voice a character in?
Yes. Red Dead Redemption. Roger Clark's a good buddy of mine. I love westerns. I grew up with the Clint Eastwood spaghetti westerns and that kind of stuff. And I just think it'd be cool. Now, Nathan Drake got to ride a motion capture horse. So I could do that. I have experience. But, it's Rockstar Games does they're very particular with their casting, and it's just never happened. But I do enjoy that, that whole concept. My son played it, and he had me do a mission. I don't know, gaming, it kind of gets me. I did the part where you go and you have to go in and break into someone's house while your partner's talking to somebody out front, and I'm like, I'm gonna get caught. It just gives me anxiety. I'm like, I just want to go shoot aliens or something, because I'm a kid of the 80s where, you went to an arcade, you pumped quarters in, and you shot Space Invaders. So, Destiny, I played that with my son, which is hysterical. If anybody plays Destiny, Eyes Up Guardians. The thing about that is my son got really good, and one day he came home from school and I was playing. He goes, are you on my system? I said, yeah, I suck at this. He goes, you're ruining my ratios. But it's like a kill-death ratio. There's a ratio that ranks you. I didn't know. And I dropped his ranking, but he was 24 or something like, and I was like, I don't know what that means. He goes, it means it's really good. I'm like, oh. So, he didn't let me play anymore. It was funny, I'll never forget that, because I bought the machine, he lived there for free, he was 15, and I felt bad, I'm sorry, I didn't know. I don't play a game anymore. So it was just funny, but yeah, I think that would be a cool thing. I think Red Dead is kind of an interesting project, and the open world thing is really interesting, you know. Of course, Fallout, put me in Fallout, that show with Walter Goggins, my son's watching that, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm like, man, would it be a good fit? It's like, hey, I'd like to go do something with that.
Yeah.
I think that's just that's, you know, that post-apocalyptic kind of crazy, you know, some of that stuff they've done something really interesting with that. I think the open world games are very open to interpretation. I think that's why they might work in television and film.
You can build a unique story instead of like a linear narrative like Uncharted.
Yeah, I think a lot of...
Even that works too.
Yeah, I think a lot of adaptations from games to TV or film, they don't work because the gaming is such a personal experience. I mean, if whoever's played Uncharted, you're Nathan Drake when you're playing. It's not me. It's you. You are experiencing that. And then when you're asked to sit in a theater and watch it for 2 hours, it becomes a separated experience. It's no longer this personal thing that you've experienced for, when I play, hundreds of hours, you know, because it takes me so long. But that's why I thought it was very good. I had a good choice to make it. Where was Drake in his 20s? Take Tom Holland. You got to get a movie star. That's how you get butts in seats. That's just how the business works. But they, you know, to say they even said we don't want to encroach on the stories you've told.
Yeah.
We don't want somebody who looks like Nathan Drake. We don't want that. We want to go in that decade where we have an opportunity to
fill the void. Yeah.
Fill the void, but also to tell our own stories with nods back to the games. I talked to Mark Wahlberg about it, and he said, yeah, I think we're trying to find the right script. He said he was very adamant about like making it better. If you ever get bored, get the audio version of the novelization. They hired me to read the story of the movie, but it allows for much more. Movies have to be, you know, like that, have to be edited down, so they wanted to keep Uncharted under 2 hours. And I get to do my Antonio Banderas. I think I did like Mark Wahlberg kind of thing when I was doing Sully, but I didn't do Tom Holland. I just did my Drake. But I got to do Chloe and everything with music. And then Chloe said, "What are you talking about, mate?" And then I got to do my own cameo in an audiobook. This is weird.
So even more fourth wall breaking than Deadpool. Yeah, I think now we're gonna get thrown out. So once again, Nolan North, thank you so much.
Thank you for waking up with me.